to get your fix.
Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix?
With the Wicks here on this glorious Fantasy Football Friday, and welcome to the show. We have team owners here with us. Y4, owner of the fantasy football team established in 2021. And then we got the owner of Full Chubb, Logan Baumgart, here on the show. But now, before we get to anything related or fantasy football related, we're going to dive right into last night's Thursday night game between the
football quarterback and sit out the rest of the game with a broken finger. I think if he would have stayed in
Did
there...
it come out that it's broken now? Or?
negative. So,
Well, then he should have played then.
what it sounds like,
A lot.
it's a very, very, like, it's a bone sprain or like something like that. So it's very badly dislocated, but it's like a big sprain, I guess. I don't even know. But x-rays were negative, but I guess he needs to run further tests like an MRI
wow.
and stuff like that.
Here we go. 6/18 just came out. Could miss 4 to 8 weeks.
Ooh. I suppose, yeah, because it is that middle finger.
See?
And that middle finger stays on the ball a lot longer than the other
I'm
balls.
a
So
drop
that's,
him. Pick up Kirk Cousins or something.
speaking of, Russell, with his finger being a little, soft, you think he was possibly with Urban Meyer down there in Ohio? Just sitting there?
No, he's a classy man. You
So
wanna
is
see
Urban Meyer.
Russell. No,
No.
That's what his wife said.
he's too old to be in there.
No, but that was a pretty solid game, I think. With Chris Carson being out, Alex Collins stepped up real nice. I picked him up in my work fantasy league. I think he scored me like 8 or so points, like 8.2 or something like that. So he did really well. Going into this game, I thought it was going to be a lot. I guess it was pretty close, but I felt like it was going to be a battle all the way to the end with the Rams barely coming out with the dub. But it looked like the Rams were kind of, in full control of that entire game going through. What do you guys think on that part of the offense and defensive?
Well, I think the headline here is probably the way Geno Smith played.
Yeah.
At the
in
beginning.
second half. Well, still, if you look at it, coming in off the bench, 10 of 17, 131 yards and a touchdown.
No picks.
Gave him a chance.
pick.
Yeah, he had a pick.
Oh, yeah.
Game losing pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arguments could be made. I've seen it all over today on pass interference on that call and whatever.
I just think he fell over and, he stays up, probably catches that ball.
Yep.
Or gets knocked down, But, other than that, I think the highlight of the night was definitely that double punt. That
goodness.
dude with that claw.
That amazed me.
Yeah, I was pumped.
You had to be athletic, and then to get the ball 68 yards downfield, that was...
Now imagine if he doesn't
Right.
grab that ball right away.
And he bobbled it.
Yeah.
Then-
It's probably a turnover at that point.
And then the game is definitely over. Probably right there.
Oh, yeah. Big time, big time.
Michael Dixon was the punter on that one. That's incredible.
Michael
Michael
Dixon.
Dixon.
Michael Dixon.
Good for him.
Hell yeah. Well, Rams won that game 26-17 in a barn burner. It was pretty decent game. Cooper Kupp really couldn't get shit going. It was all Robert Woods mainly getting the receptions or the targets on that game. But now let's dive in to some fantasy football. Now for the first game we're going to talk about is my and this guy over here, Y4, game. He's now currently up 37-7. He also did have 2 people play in Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf. Well, DK actually had a pretty solid game. 98 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns.
Hopefully it's enough to make up for the injured Russell Wilson.
Yeah, 10 points.
Hopefully
Yeah,
that kind of
awesome.
balances out him having a big day. Maybe, disperses it out a little bit more, but we're gripping on for dear life.
You really need those points too, because I just kicked his ass last week. We weren't here on last Friday, but that's all right. I still got the dub. That's all that matters. And then we got Full Chubb over here. Who are you playing again? You're playing. You're in trouble. This is for your second week, right?
It is, and I beat him last week. He's 1-3, but he's projected to beat me right now, 150 to 127. He's up 27-0 because he did have a big day from Robert Woods.
And Robert Woods actually had 27.
27
Jeez. No
points.
tutties. Now imagine he gets a touchdown.
Wow.
And I got no chance.
It would have been a crazy game.
It would have been awesome.
But I mean, he's got Alvin Kamara. Big thing for me this week is Calvin Ridley is out.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
huge.
No tutties.
So that's bad for me, but well, hopefully OBJ has a big day in LA and Pat Mahomes has a big day in Buffalo. But
And I think going off that Calvin Ridley thing, one person you guys are probably going to want to start being that Calvin Ridley is out would be Cordero Patterson. Get that man in your starting lineup as soon as possible. Right now he's the third-ranked running back in fantasy football. I believe in not only the NFL fantasy app, also in ESPN. But this man brings receiving, he brings rushing, he just brings pretty much the whole package there to that offense. And they are playing the New York Jets.
In London.
Yeah,
Do you
in
think
London.
that means anything for this game?
Yes and no. Like, I feel like yes, because, I mean, obviously the time difference.
What do you got for this game?
Who do I got? Oof.
who is it? Jets and who?
I got
Falcons.
Atlanta.
Falcons.
I
In
got
London.
Atlanta over the Jets just because of Cordero Patterson.
I think I got the Jets on this one. I like what I saw from Zach Wilson last week. He looked pretty good.
I'm going to take the Jets as well.
Yeah.
For,
Look at that.
you know,
For what reason?
I think that Zach Wilson is, they're looking for
Progressing.
number 2.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think that they feel more desperate than the Falcons right now, and I think Falcons going over to London is just gonna.
They have Corey
Throw
Davis
everything
back too.
Hey, Corey, I was just gonna say that Corey Davis, and then they had Crowder. I think was he back or
I think he was
I
limited.
don't know. Oh yeah, because I think him and Davis were back full time last week, and Davis 111 yards, 4 receptions, and a touchdown. He had that big, I think a 52-yard touchdown pass from Zach Wilson. And Zach Wilson, I mean, he was scrambling the whole game and was making some incredible throws. So
He was. Yeah.
I think maybe he's got it figured out. Maybe it's too early to tell. Who knows? But we'll find out.
I like that Corey Davis because, I mean, you could see, like, right away, first game back, puts up 100-plus yards and a touchdown. I mean, Zach Wilson and him have been on the same page, not only in the game, but also, practice, maybe
Falcons.
before that.
All they got is Cordell right now. That's really working. They haven't figured out how to get Kyle Pitts involved.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts, he's an
He's a
interesting...
rookie tight end.
Yeah, it's going to take you some time to... You know what it reminds me of, kind of? And it's weird, but it's in the opposite situation where Darren Waller, when he came into the league with the Baltimore Ravens, he was a wide receiver, wasn't really working out all that much, makes a transition to tight end, and now he's just a baller. Are we thinking maybe like Kyle Pitts maybe should try or maybe look at doing the same thing, maybe playing a little bit more wide
I
receiver?
think they've already been trying to do that, moving him out a little bit more.
Just gonna take a look at his stats here for this year.
But historically, for fantasy, rookie tight ends never
Yeah, they-
put up good numbers.
See, I remember I had T.J. Hawkinson when he first came in the league. It was garbage. I thought he was going to do something, and
I think it's just going to take
just gotta
that's
grow.
a position that you got to grow into.
it's a lot of learning because you got to block, you got to read all those different schemes and make plays. But I think Cordero Patterson in that Falcons team, obviously with Calvin Ridley out, it is a big, big hit to the Falcons, but at the same time, like, they didn't need him last week. They kind of did because they lost to the Washington football team, but they also were in that game until the very end, let that one slip away. I think they actually had the lead at one point. I think it was like 30-28, and then, 30-28 or 30-27, and then Washington comes back, scores 34-30, and then the Falcons are screwed. But Cordero Patterson, I think, he's going to get a lot of targets receiving, being that Calvin Ridley's out. I think he's going to get a lot of rushes. Expect a lot of screens out of Cordero Patterson. Do you guys have any other possible starts for this week for fantasy football? Who would you start if you were, yourself, I guess?
Man, I think a big sit this week obviously is Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
With the torn labrum.
You think that's going to affect his performance at all?
I think it is. I think that anything to do with the QB's upper body is going to affect his balance and his throwing power.
But it is
gonna
on his
ask
opposite
them-
side.
It is.
They're not going to be asking him to do all that, though. They're just going to be asking him not to turn the ball.
Exactly. So, fantasy-wise, you're probably going to get maybe 10, 12 points out of him, I think, in LA. But I think a big start for me would be Josh Allen. He's been looking really good the last couple weeks. And going at KC, I think he's going to have a big game because that defense is awful.
I think they're like 25th or something like that against the pass.
Right.
Or something like
Right.
that. Just
Happy.
really, really bad. They'll figure it out, obviously. It is the Chiefs.
I do think that the Chiefs will pull that game off, though.
Really?
They're at home, and it's early in the season.
It's
They're
going to be
pretty-
one of those high-scoring games, but as long as the Chiefs had 4 turnovers last week. I don't think that they do that 2 weeks in a row. I think it's going to be a lot cleaner game, and they're going to get in a shootout with them, and whoever has the ball last.
Yeah, AFC Championship rematch, right? Sunday Night Football. It's gonna be a big game.
I think those Bills are going to take that one barely, just because Stephon Diggs hasn't found the end zone. And if he finds the end zone, I think it's going to be a very, very big day for not only him, but Josh Allen and the Bills. Who's their other? Isn't Emmanuel Sanders going off for them too?
I believe so. Take a look here.
So
But
I know their tight end that just got his first start last week. Dawson Knox was a big pickup for all fantasy owners out there. I mean, what was it? I think it was Matthew Berry and Field Yates. They run that fantasy football show, and they said for one person that you'd want to get going or want to pick up if he's available is Dawson Knox, and I think he put up a ridiculous amount of points last week.
well, I mean, just statistically, he had 5 receptions, 40 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Those 2 touchdowns are huge.
So that's a big game for him. Stephon Diggs, 7 receptions, 114 yards, and then Emmanuel Sanders, 5 receptions, 74 yards. So that's a good front 3 right there.
But I mean, they also did play the Texans.
Yeah,
so
right. Yeah, he had Mills throw 4 picks.
What else did the Bills play?
They have played. So they lost to the Steelers. They beat the
Washington football team.
Washington football team.
And then they shut out the Bills and Dolphins.
Wait, they shut out the Dolphins?
I believe so. Let's take a look.
Yeah, they did,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah, 35-0.
Okay. Yeah,
But
because
the
that was their
Dolphins are
second game.
playing terrible right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Really
sucks.
bad. With Tua being on, they trash.
Now, do you think with Tua in that changes anything?
I don't know. Because I mean,
It seemed like their confidence was a little bit more.
but if you look at quarterback play, I mean, Jacoby Brissett last week, 20 out of 30, 199 with 2 touchdowns, no picks.
Brissett's looking
So-
decent.
Does quarterback play really matter too much for their team right now? I don't know.
So what's going on? Why do they look so shitty?
I have no idea. And the thing is like Brian Flores is a defensive-minded head coach. So you think he'd be able to get him rolling. I mean, he has Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, the top 2 out of 5 corners probably in the NFL. Easily. Probably don't have linebackers. That's probably what's killing them, I think, the most. Because I think they got rid of, obviously, Kyle Van Noy is now a New England Patriot. Who's the other guy I think they got rid of? He's hurt. I think it was McKinney, Bernardrick McKinney, because he came over from the Texans. But I think they don't really have a front 4. They have some pieces, like Christian Wilkins and stuff like that. But, yeah, this Bills team, they're the real deal. I mean, 118-21 the last 3 games. They've outscored their opponents, so they're looking solid. I think any person on the Bills team, if you want to pick them up, go ahead. Running back wise, I'd say probably Zach Moss over Devin Singletary. I think he's been getting a lot of the rushing attempts and a lot of that. But Devin Singletary is obviously going to have one of those games where he's going to go off or he's going to ball out, and I think Kansas City might be that game. Just might, because you're going to have to use everything you can to try to beat them. You're going to have to put up a lot of points because the Chiefs put up a lot of points.
Yes.
A lot of points. What about you? Who would you start if you had to? Like, number 1 person you right off the top
Did
of
you
your
do start or did you do sit?
He did
I
start.
did start.
Okay.
He
You
did
said
sit, too.
Baker sit.
Oh yeah, I did one of each.
Okay.
Okay.
So start, I'm going to say Sam Darnold against the Eagles. I think that he'll have another big day, and I think that they'll continue their win streak. I think Jalen Hurts could have a big day, too. I think it could be like a 26-24 type of game.
Close game, like a field
But
goal.
both quarterbacks have been playing well, and the team seems to be meshing well on both
Like,
sides.
yeah.
But I think that Carolina will end up on top, and Sam Darnold will have another big day with another rushing touchdown, I think.
He's been
It's-
looking good on his feet. So
It's going to be an interesting one because defensively, Carolina, I mean, they've obviously gotten better. They picked up C.J. Henderson off a trade from the Jags. Just got Stephon Gilmore the other day.
right. Yeah,
But-
Stephon Gilmore.
That's
Unbelievable.
huge. That is big. But he's not going to be able to play until week
Right.
7.
Right,
So
right.
that's still big. But I think this week, the big thing about Carolina is they might not have Christian McCaffrey. And I think Chuba Hubbard, if I'm right, I seen Chuba's
I think
name.
it sounds like he's going to play
Oh,
Christian McCaffrey.
no,
I
they
say it's
said
highly
they said
doubtful.
highly doubtful,
Really?
and
Mhm.
Adam Scheffner said this morning, whenever a team says highly doubtful, it's almost never that they're going to play
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Questionable, they have a chance.
I wouldn't start him if he did say that he was going to play. If they did start him, it would be very limited.
Yeah.
Well, and you
Why-
think about it, he got that hamstring injury 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
So it's
I
like,
wouldn't start him.
Why rush him? Why rush him, man? They're good enough,
That's why I think that Sam Darnold will have another rushing touchdown.
Let him
down
sit
in the red
those-
zone.
he could have a rushing touchdown. Sam Darnold might actually ball out. He might have Probably 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, 3 total.
260 yards.
I can see that against that Eagles secondary. It's just garbage as well. That's a big one. Here, Russell Wilson expected to miss roughly 6 weeks after undergoing surgery to repair his injured finger.
There you go.
So
Unbelievable.
I'm gonna have to
Seahawks
drop
are done.
Yeah,
That's
Russell probably sit Russ, not playing obviously.
Wow.
So if
That's
you
huge.
started,
You're going to put
that's-
him on your reserve. I probably wouldn't drop him.
I can't. I don't know how to do it.
Or you move him to your bench, and then you move him from your bench to your reserve.
I try.
Ooh, bummer.
Because I have Jarvis Landry in my
So
reserve
it wasn't
right now.
Chuba Hubbard that I seen on Twitter. It was Chris Hubbard, offensive lineman for the Browns,
Yep.
expected to have season-ending injury or
Chris
surgery. on
Hubbard,
his
and he
triceps.
was he's the backup for Jedrick Wills, so we're third
He is.
string. Blake Hance is who's going to be.
Yeah, but you think they're gonna move with your second string on the other side, you know? Because I
Yeah.
think offensive line is the easiest position or the easiest, easiest position to transition to any one of those. You know, from guard to tackle to center or something like that. Still a lot to take in, obviously, but
Yeah.
I think that's an easier transition than wide receiver to tight end or running back to tight end or running back to wide receiver or something stupid like that.
Blake Hance did play for us in that Steelers playoff win last year,
Did he?
and he looked pretty good because Jedrick Wills was out for that game.
That's
so,
right.
So I mean, he's got some experience, postseason experience. Obviously, he was good in that game. So who
So
knows?
You said sit Baker. Now he's playing the Chargers. Why do you say, other than that torn labrum, why do you say sit Baker?
I think that we're gonna this past week against the Vikings. I think it was like 38 minutes we had the ball. So I think it's just our game plan is gonna continue to be hold on to the ball and keep it out of hands of Justin Herbert.
They could win doing that.
And
too.
yeah, exactly. I mean,
As long as-
the Browns obviously have shown they're not in this to score a lot of points.
Yeah.
They're fine winning 10-6, 14-7. So
Dinks and dunks
Yep.
from Baker's
check downs, screens, Kareem Hunt screens have been huge. He had some really that 38-yard on I was like 3rd and 20 last week against the Vikings, and it was a Kareem Hunt screen
Oh yeah,
right before halftime.
Brutus kind of. Yeah.
So that was what gave us the field goal and made it 11-7 at halftime. So I think it's going to be a big game for Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. And I think Baker's just going to be there to not turn the ball over and just manage the game.
Is Jarvis still out too?
Yes.
Okay.
Travis is out for at least another 2 weeks.
That's huge. That's big. Because the other wide receiver is what's his name?
Rashard Higgins,
Rashard
and then
Higgins.
we got Donovan Peoples-Jones, and then Anthony Schwartz.
That's what I was thinking. Is people showing. Anthony Schwartz is
He's looking pretty
he's surprising. He comes
Yeah.
in and just does like 1 or 2 plays and he makes a
He's fast.
good play. So for me, I think I would have to. God, who did I say to sit? What about you, John? Who do you got sitting?
I'm gonna say Melvin Gordon.
Really?
Sit this week. I think that Javonte Williams will start getting the majority of carries there after his week last week, and I think that he's gonna end up being really good for that team.
Okay.
So,
He got angry runs from Kyle Brandt.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
He carried a guy. How many yards is that? Like 16 yards on
I
his
didn't
back.
see it. I don't
Oh, it was insane. Gotta watch it.
I suppose my sit would be Antonio Gibson for the Washington football team. He is listed as questionable right now. It does sound like, last week he was limited in reps. So J.D. McKissick is going to get a lot more reps, I think, as well this week. I think they're going to let that Gibson kind of, get his body right before they send him out there to the Wolves again. But I would definitely sit Antonio Gibson. If he does start, you want him to be on your starting lineup, go for it. But I mean, if you got other options, I'd use your other options for sure. But other than that, let's talk about Full Chubb and his record right now. You are 3-1 tied, or I guess you are the leader in the division, aren't you? Or
let's see.
I think
I'm
you're
tied with Simtic.
you're tied with
3-1, number
Okay.
2 overall.
And he's-
Simtic are tied for number 1 right now.
He's not looking so hot either, is he? He is playing Team Cole right now, I
Team
believe.
Cole's pretty good. I think he's 2-2, but plays better than his record.
Yeah, I mean, can't say that about John. No, I'm kidding. He just
Just
won
beat
last week.
Austin last week.
Oh yeah, you did beat Austin last week.
Yeah, only one to do it so far.
Yeah, that's my one loss.
I mean, I got my butt kicked. It is getting really, really dark out.
Yeah, we need some lights.
Do need some lights in here eventually, but that's okay. Basically, since the sun's going down, we kind of talked about all we needed to. Kind of keep it short, sweet. It's getting dark. You guys can't fucking see us. I can barely see myself. So, with that being said, go have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll come back here next Monday for the show, and then we will also follow up on Fantasy Football Friday next Friday as well with these two goofballs here. But hey, like I said, go enjoy the rest of your day. Gosh dang it. But anyways, we'll see you later, and you just got your fix with the Wicks.